check each side of it because that'd be silly, wouldn't it?
Phones off.
Ooh. Hello, everyone. Are you joining us? We're live. Hello.
No, no.
Here we are. Yeah, we're live.
Oh, we're live.
We're waiting for people to join.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Well, in that case, welcome to our Pick the Premium. You know how this works. We have two normal home cooks who are basically going to work out which of two very similar products is the more premium or the more expensive. The difference today, it's a wine tasting. We're doing it live, and some of you guys are drinking along with us. You are all very welcome. We can see in the comments you are from all over the place. Whether you are settled with a cup of tea, a soft drink, a beer, or a glass of wine, we don't care. Join the chat. Join in with questions about wine, hopefully the ones we're talking about broadly, and that's great. If you've actually got the wine with you, then you're winning. But what it means is, hopefully you've got at least 2 wine glasses to hand, and you've taken wines 1 to 4 out of the fridge now, because we're going to be using them in the next couple of minutes. Boys, we haven't done one of these for a while.
No, I cannot wait for this. I've been looking forward to tonight for quite a while.
I'm excited to try some things that I'm going to like and humiliate myself trying to use wine lexicon.
Well, last time we did one of these, it was Wine 101, and we were trying to talk about generally understanding wine. Today, it's much easier. We want you to pick your favourite and then to pick the premium. And then we'll talk about why certain wines are more premium than others. You'll notice there's a link in the description box. Please only use that if you are actually drinking along. It will take you to a Google form because we would love you to submit your votes for your favourites and your premium picks as we go along. But please don't use that if you're not actually drinking the same wines.
People just in there, just
I like the look of that one,
sabotaging.
which is fine. But we'd rather you didn't, because it will skew the results for those who are drinking along. But everyone else is very welcome in the chat. And we already have people from New Mexico, from Burton-on-Trent. We've got people in the Midlands who've got an amazing group together. I think you said 11 of you.
Yes!
With a bottle of each
Well
wine
played.
and plenty of cheese. Enough cheese to sink France.
What a Friday night.
I want to be there.
I've got a question, actually, for you guys. This is such a lovely wine bar that Ebbers has put on for us.
Yes.
I think you should suggest some names for Ben's wine bar in the comments.
Ben's Winey Bar.
Ben's wine, yeah, always whining.
Always whining. There we
That's
go.
a good one.
Yeah.
No, I'm out.
No, fantastic. Comment down below.
The
some
tannin
ideas.
salon.
The Tannins Salon.
Very good.
The tannin
That's off the top
salon.
of your head.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't like that one.
What is that?
I've been given this as well for anything that winds me up.
Winds me
yeah,
up.
Brilliant.
Oh, we are
Brilliant.
on
It's
to a
going
flyer.
to be a long Friday.
It's Friday night, people.
The good news is we're going to play 3 rounds, much like we do on the channel regularly. We're going to look at 2 things side by side. We're going to do a round of whites, 2 whites, then a round of rosé, 2 rosé, and then a round of reds, 2 reds. And each time we want to know your favourite and then your premium.
No sparkling? No sparkling?
No sparkling today because sparkling doesn't like these little pouches. We have again teamed up with the Online Wine Tasting Club. Alex and Jamie are awesome. Check them out. And again, there is a link down below. If you haven't been able to get the wines yet and you're in the UK, now's your chance. You can still buy them, and this will be available on YouTube for the next, well, weeks, months, years, as always.
Forever.
Marvellous.
Like
I would
everything
suggest
we
you
do.
pick up wines 1 and 2. These are your white wines. Remember which you put in which glass, and I'm just going to show you how to open it so everyone, if you haven't done before, is understood.
I would like to watch
I
this
would
again.
suggest you pinch and pull up the tap, and you can pour it while it's in the cardboard, but it's actually so much easier to take it out, put number 1 by your number 1 wine glass, so you remember, and then you've got a perforated line. Don't snip it like this. Make the line level with the floor so that gravity helps you. Then you can snip. It's not going anywhere. And then you bring your glass up and pour in. 1 portion of wine, this is 100 ml, perfectly preserved.
Let's do it.
And that is wine number 1. If you put 1 and 2 into your glass at home,
Oh, there's so many rules.
and then we can start talking about what we're seeing, smelling and tasting.
So much procedure.
Okay.
There is a
Right.
bit of procedure, but because
Tilt.
it's blind taste testing, I want you guys to remember which is
No,
which. So
snip it.
put your
Mike,
boxes
other way.
next to your wine.
No, you said
other
that.
way. No, away from gravity.
Just let me be me. You made me stop. So then, there we go.
You cut it facing down.
He did listen.
It's in. That's all that matters.
It's in.
It's in.
Okay.
Wines 1 and 2. Now, you've only just taken these out of the fridge, so the chances are they are going to be fridge cold. But because they're only about 100 ml, just a little bit of swilling in the glass brings them up to a nice temperature to drink. Because these are two very similar white wines, actually you want it chilled, but not necessarily fridge cold. So like 5 to 8 degrees would be wonderful here. Have a look at your wines and remember what we're going to do with our wines. We're going to look at them, sniff them and taste them. Now this time I'm going to tell you about the wines obviously later on because otherwise that would spoil the game. So have a look at both. Open your Google form if you're playing along, and at that point, decide which is your favourite, having sniffed, tasted, and looked at both.
Now we've all got a pack each here, but I think if you guys are home, you can be sharing these. You don't need a sachet each. We're just doing it because
Depends what kind of night you want to have.
Exactly.
That's it.
You also don't have to drink at our speed. We've got a couple of options here. The sprig of mint.
Sprig of mint's good.
Ben's
Nice.
third tipple.
Yes, love that.
That is winning so far.
Winner's bar and snip the tip.
Snip the tip. That's
tip.
also good.
Or the
Oh,
vintage
wow.
allotment. I like all of these.
Third
These could be my
Tipple
wine bar.
is hard to beat.
That is
That's up
wonderful.
there.
Right,
Lovely
boys,
bit of
let's
business.
try one.
One, give it a swirl.
Get your nose involved.
Right, everybody, get in the mood here because this is what it's all about.
Today is not about pretentiousness. Today is about understanding which is your favourite. And there literally is no wrong answer.
It's strange to be doing this without a blindfold.
Well, in this instance, we actually want you to look at them because there is quite a difference between 1 and 2.
If this one's nice.
Nice is good.
Okay, can I say some words?
Yeah,
Get
try
your
me.
buzzer ready. Citrus?
Yeah.
Yes! Do I get a correct? Oh, I noticed you've only got an incorrect buzzer.
It is citrusy. It's zippy. It's lemony.
What's the opposite? This is a sentence. What's the opposite of dry?
Sweet. So the scale on wine goes from dry to
Even
sweet.
I knew that.
Okay.
Or
cool.
wet.
Or wet, if you're
I was gonna
talking about it
say,
in...
The opposite of dry is definitely wet. But in this instance, you're saying sweet. But I thought I wasn't allowed to say the word sweet wine.
Well, if it's a sweet wine.
Yeah.
But the scale goes from dry to sweet.
Okay,
All
gotcha.
of the wines today are going to be dry or maybe off dry, but I think actually
Yeah.
they're pretty much all dry
Okay, cool.
wines.
Okay.
So first off, you're wrong. It's not sweet.
I'm not saying what's sweet. I was saying it's not a dry wine. Not the
From-
driest of wines.
From experience,
Yeah.
he gets annoyed when you say that something's sweet because it's fruity. He does not like that. If it tastes of fruit, it doesn't mean it's sweet.
No.
That's what I've remembered
Okay.
to make sure I say over and over and over again to ruin your Friday.
I don't feel like it's from swilling it around. It's not punching me in the face with aromas straight away. It's quite subtle.
And what you might find is it opens up as it warms up. But absolutely, I think it's actually a nice wine to drink pretty chilled and pretty
I
cold.
really
anyway.
like it. Like,
Yeah,
Very
really
refreshing.
like it.
Very quaffable.
Spaffs in the comments. Thanks for joining us.
So you're on holiday, Jamie.
He's with his other friends in
who
Valencia.
obviously aren't hanging out with him right now.
Do you think
They've left him in the bar.
or he didn't get back into Valencia because of the paella burrito,
probably.
and he's in the airport.
In customs.
He's in customs, yeah.
Okay, and then once you've had a little sip and a tipple on that, move on to 2. I'm gonna tell you they're both very similar.
Oh,
They are both the same grape type.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they are both Pinot Grigio.
Right.
But number 2, it is quite different.
Varied in colour,
Ebbers Little Pinot.
incredibly.
That could be another name. for
Ebbers
it.
Little Pinot, yeah, or Ben's Bottles and Barrels, which I quite like that name in the comments. More so than Little Pinot. But yeah, you can see it is clearer,
Okay.
lighter, whereas 1 has got a bit of a straw colour.
Oh, wow.
Wine 2
I'd
is
say they're
very clear.
I think they're very different. Am I
Very
getting
different. There's a lot more going on.
melon?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, you might well
What
be
is
getting melon.
happening?
So, from wine 1, yes, you have all of that citrus, that green fruit, apple and pear, but also minerality. Whereas wine 2, you've said melon, and that's not a bad shout. Like melon, it kind of moving into still citrus and apple, but maybe some melon or even some apricot in there as well.
Yeah, it's slightly more tart as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's from a complete noob. It feels like it's got more complexity. There's different flavours sort of coming together. Whereas the first one, absolutely delicious, very drinkable, but it's mainly sort of citrus fruit coming through.
Yep.
Going back to the game we're playing here, which is Pick the Premium. I think this is a really tough start. They are both absolutely delicious. I'd say the second one is more complex, but I think the oh God, I hate myself. The texture of one, I feel, has more viscosity. It feels more richer.
You guys are getting good at this. Do you know why that might be? Wine 1 is about 13% ABV, whereas wine 2 is only 11. So one of them actually has almost 20% more alcohol in it, and that gives you more mouthfeel. So you're spot on there.
You know a thing.
Mouthfeel.
You know
Now,
a thing.
guys, if you're drinking along, comment down below, keep at it. But also now head to the Google form. This is a little bit clunky, but trust us, it's going to work. Go to the Pick the Premium, go to the first question, and it just says, let's get started with the whites, which is your favourite? Not which you think is more premium, just which is your favourite. If you could select wine 1 or wine 2, and then scroll down to the bottom and submit your form. So just answer the one question, and then scroll down and submit your form.
Okay. I'm not sure I have a favourite either. I like them. I love them equally. But one I find more drinkable, but one I feel I could take my time with and enjoy more.
Ebbers, I'm going to get your buzzer ready. I feel like number 2 has more of a rounded finish, similar to some Chardonnays that I've had before. Almost like, but not buttery. Go on.
Not quite. Not.
How do I describe that?
Not quite. No, well, some of the comments said Ben should have a buzzer all the time. It's just to correct.
Absolutely not.
No.
But no, do you know what I mean though? You drink the first one, it hits the back of your palate, and you get that sort of really pleasant, sort of sharp sensation that you get from citrus fruit and tangy stuff. Whereas this doesn't have that. And I don't know whether maybe it's the smoothness of the melon flavour, but it doesn't attack the back of your palate as much, and therefore feels rounder.
An interesting observation. We'll talk about the difference in the winemaking between the two in a bit. But the good news is, I've already got loads of responses. Boys, do you have a favourite?
Yes.
Which is your favourite, 1 or 2? We'll just discuss that.
Mine is number 2.
I think mine's number 1.
Okay, so split opinion
There's
in the room.
There's a 5% swing, 45%, 55%.
Interestingly, at home, hundreds of responses already, and the favourite, almost 2/3 of the vote, are preferring wine 2.
Yeah.
Okay? But now we go again, because now I'm going to ask you, which do you think is the premium? We know which is your favourite, but now go back to the form to submit another answer, and this time, choose which you think is more premium, and then submit form again. Boys, what are you thinking?
I'm going to say something else that might trigger the buzzer.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm getting notes of vanilla, because I feel like there's a flavour that's been added for another process. Like it almost feels like it could have been stored. Yeah, oaky.
Like barreling.
There's barreling.
A tertiary.
I always struggle with saying it tastes like vanilla, because it doesn't taste of vanilla.
A secondary.
Which one you think? In which wine?
In one.
So, no.
Damn it.
They're both really fresh.
I was getting cocky.
It's an interesting angle, and the reason you might be getting that is they do take a tiny percentage of that wine and put it into barrique, but it's a tiny, tiny percentage to give it a bit of mouthfeel. You're probably not getting. It's definitely not an oat.
You might just
wine.
be a super taster. You might have a microscopic talent.
Watch a video. I'm not.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so people at home are submitting their Pick the Premium. Boys, I want you to scribble something down, but also, if you lift the cloche...
Is it a wine?
Oh! A very small little food pairing. I think with this kind of wine, we are talking deliciously quaffable. Salty snacks are great. I've suggested these as an option because they've got a little hint of fennel. They are an Italian snack, and Pinot Grigio is an Italian grape. If you see Pinot Gris, it's the same grape from France, but Pinot Grigio is an Italian grape. So some little Italian salty snacks just to liven up your palate, because any food pairing is better when you go wine and salt. But, boys, you need to lock in a premium. You both prefer different things, but I'm interested to know which you think is the premium. We will also reveal all the prices in a bit.
Do you have a favourite, Ebbers?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Are you holding that information back?
My favourite is 2 in this instance, but I wholly respect 1 for different reasons. But actually, if I wanted a second glass of one of these, it would be 2 personally. Okay, let's see what we've got at home in terms of voting. People are pretty much sticking to their guns. So hundreds of responses, and 64% of you are going with wine 2 as the premium, which was also, for 63% of you, your favourite. So you're going with my favourite is also the most premium and the most expensive.
I think we're all probably exploring that ground logic-wise. And if it fails at the first hurdle, we can adapt. Whether we think, oh, that one tastes the nicest, therefore it must be premium.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, boys, reveal what you guys have chosen as the premium. 3, 2, 1.
2. I think you've got expensive taste. Definitely.
I know
community.
you've got expensive taste.
Well,
I know he's got expensive taste.
I think I still prefer 1.
Do you?
Yeah, I think
you prefer 1, but you think 2 is the premium. I think that's absolutely valid as well. Was there anything in the colour that made you sway? Because 1 has got a slightly richer, straw-like colour. Almost a pink hue, whereas 2 is very, very clear.
What in the process of the winemaking would affect the colour?
A little bit of skin contact. Oaking, definitely, if it was to be oaked. They would change that.
So that would lead to a darker or a lighter?
A darker colour. But also, potentially, and there's lots of other factors in play, use of more stem, a slightly warmer fermenter when they're crushed. Lots of things could have a bearing. But today, you have all agreed with that you think 2 is the premium.
This is interesting.
Just so you know, none of the wines today are less than £10 a bottle. So we're not talking cheap. We're always starting at a good base level. And then the premium ones are, some of them, very premium. I can reveal that in the whites, you've all chosen 2 as the premium.
It's wrong, isn't it?
And most of you at home and Mike have chosen 2 as your favourite. Barry preferred 1. The premium wine is 1.
We are cheapskates. Yes, that's why we love you. That's why you are one of us.
Absolutely okay. Shall I now explain a little bit about why these wines are what they are?
Can I first off just say how rewarding it is that we're in this together.
Yeah.
Usually we're here on our own, expecting you to slate us in the comments, but now...
Well, they are.
Yeah, as well. You're a part of this. You're tasting exactly what we're tasting.
It's such a nice thing to do.
This is
genuinely.
great. This is so much fun. Give us some facts.
So, some facts. Let's start with wine number 1. So you've still got some in your glass. Now you can sniff along and taste along. But essentially, I said that Pinot Grigio was an Italian grape.
Yeah.
So this is from Italy. So it's from pretty high up. I think over the next few minutes we might even share some photos to give you an idea of where they appear and where the vineyards are, so you can get a feel for it. I think the romance of wine comes from where it's grown. But we are talking northern Italy. We are talking the Dolomites, so quite a bit of height. And the grapes are on quite a steep slope, which means they have to be hand-picked.
Black? A black rum or...?
Not quite a black rum, but because they're quite steep, and they're in the Dolomites, they're all hand-picked, which obviously is more expensive. So that is one thing that makes it more expensive. But also, it is organic and vegan, so they're putting in all the practices that protect the vineyard as well, so that makes it a bit more expensive. But then they're very, very controlled in how they do it. So relatively small amount is done in very small barrels, and I'm talking a very, very small amount. So you said oak, and you either have the most supreme palate ever, or what I think you were getting, and I think you're absolutely right, is a slightly richer, fuller mouthfeel. 13% alcohol, a fraction of oaking, like literally like 10% of it goes in small barrels and then gets blended in. But the quality of the wine, this is Franz has. In fact, I'll show you the bottle. Pioneer, one of the first Italian vineyards to put all of their wine with a screw cap. Buck the trend in Italy, which is very much still leading into cork. So sort of pioneering with the screw cap. And that is Pinot Grigio 2023.
From Italy with a German name.
From Italy. Well, we are talking very northern Italy in the Dolomites.
So bordering Austria?
Up that way. And I think you guys got it spot on when you said citrus. A slight pink blush, but I would also say you get some of the aromats. It's really protected. It's on a lovely slope, so you get some minerality. You get some acacia. You get some sage. You might even get some stone in there, kind of stone, wet stone flavours.
Get some apres.
That comes from the fact that you're really high up in the mountains. You get great diurnals, which basically means it gets very cold at night, but you get lovely sun during the day. So there's a big switch, which protects the grapes. And you end up with a delicious wine, high acid, so it's very dry, racing acidity, but yummy, yummy, yummy.
The swingy thing you just said, does that apply to growing all sorts of vegetables and fruits?
Grapes,
like the swing, does that
vines
broadly...
in particular, because it gives them the evening to recover and to basically not over stew and over bake. And the cold, but then the sun in the day, you get good acidity but good ripeness, and it doesn't all become too jammy.
So it will work with tomatoes?
I don't know enough about tomato growing to know whether diurnals is a good thing or not.
I just want to Google diurnals.
What do you have problems with your cherry tomatoes at home?
Well, yeah.
But those of you who saw the video might also have seen big
strawberries.
stainless steel tanks. It's done in that so it protects the freshness. They're picked first thing in the morning when it's still pretty cold. It's chilled, it's pressed. There's a little bit of skin contact, but that is why it's a more expensive wine.
Gotcha.
The Dolomites, quite an expensive area.
Yeah.
And also it's hand harvested.
From someone who's looking at property in Italy right now.
I should have trusted my gut.
I can let you know that a hectare of land in this area could range, so a hectare, so 10,000 square metres, could range between 50 and 100,000 euros. Just bear that in mind. Okay, so 50 to 100,000 euros to grow grapes in that region, to be Italian Pinot Grigio. However, let's switch to wine number 2.
What I would say about wine number 1, sorry to interrupt others, is that had we not been doing this, you could have poured me that and I'd have gone, that is fantastic.
I think it is fantastic.
For a long time this evening, and I don't need anything else. And it's only the fact that we are comparing these side by side. I don't think you'd find, and this is from a heathen, I don't know if you'd find anyone who would drink that and go, oh, it's not for me. It's phenomenal. It's just next to something that I prefer.
I think I've got, when it comes to drinks, I enjoy texture. So I like sweet, sugary drinks that have syrupy.
Prime.
I'm not saying that's I'm not saying that's sweet at all, but I'm saying it coats the mouth more, which is why I think I enjoy it. And again, I need to listen to my gut. I know I have expensive taste. I should have picked one.
You liked it for all the right reasons, and I'm completely with you. It has a real grown-upness about it. It has a typicity of Pinot Grigio. Basically, like it's very typical of Pinot Grigio because you get everything you'd expect to get from the Pinot Grigio grape because it's basically where it grows best. However, fast forward on to 2, which was everyone's favourite pretty much, and everyone's picked the premium. However, it's cheaper. Because, same grape, but grown in Romania. So, again, over the next couple of minutes, we will show a few photos and videos of the area, but we're not talking steep slopes of the Dolomites. We're now talking undulating hills of Romania.
It's beautiful.
And it is absolutely stunning.
Warmer climate?
Very similar throughout the year, but basically what you get, so this is an Englishman who moved over there, has married a Romanian lady, and together they make the wine, and they grow Pinot Grigio, among other things, and they make this wine so carefully. They are so careful to pick and to chill and to ferment so there is no skin contact and it's very cold, which is why it is so clear and so pure in its flavour. It's very simple but actually simple is a positive thing this way. However, not on steep slopes, slightly wider vines because the land's a bit cheaper, so they machine harvest. So it makes it a lot cheaper to make. Doesn't make it lesser quality, it just makes it cheaper to make.
And they pass that on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know, look at where things are at the moment. A lot of businesses are looking at how do we do this simpler and cheaper, but not change the price.
Yeah.
So yeah, foothills of basically Transylvania, the mountain range there, the Carpathian mountain range. Absolutely delicious. The bottle, not dissimilar to the last in its style.
Screw top.
This is, Kalusari. Again, same year, same grape, just a completely different country. And you said melon, Mike, which I think is spot on.
I said it.
They even say it here. But I would also say, to add to that, it's lemony, which you said, grapefruit, green fruit, maybe a little bit of peach, melon. It's sharp, it's zippy, it's zingy, possibly even like white flowers and floral. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's now been in all of your glasses for about 10-15 minutes. So it has warmed up slightly.
I think
and now if you smell it, you can begin to get some of that white flower as well.
I think it's more citrusy now that it's warmed up. Now you're getting a bit of zip as well, which makes it even nicer.
What annoys me a little bit about it is that I would never have bought that if it wasn't for this, because when I go to the supermarket, there is no Romania aisle.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You can
buy
buy
the rest of the world. You have to do some real digging to find that one.
I don't even go into the wine aisle.
Do you not?
Never been there. No, I just go opposite, chilled, boom, prosecco, lovely. One for the way home, one for when I'm out.
And you know, prosecco again, northern Italy, not too far away from wine one.
Yep.
Different grape. But you're right, Baz. Like, I think a lot of Eastern European countries make excellent wine. Romania, Latvia. Austrian wine is incredible, but we see less of it in the supermarkets now. One to keep an eye out for, not least because wine one, which was the premium, about £18 a bottle. Whereas the one that everyone preferred is our cheapest wine tonight at £10 a bottle. And it's absolutely delicious for it. Give or take like 20p either way, I think. But
10 is impressive. 10's usually the ones that are in like the discount area.
Oh, they're always the ones that I take to people's houses.
Yeah, they're ones that reduce from £12 to £10.
I normally just go Rioja because it's got a lovely little gold net on it and it looks posh, so I just go take a Rioja.
Does look posh.
Look, there's a nice gift. It's already wrapped.
Yeah, no, I feel like
that's brilliant.
That's a fantastic first round, and the fact that majority of people got it wrong is testament to good research, good wine selections by everybody involved.
But also the fact, like what I'm looking for in this is to be able to make calculated decisions in the wine aisle.
Yeah.
I only ever buy it when I've got people who are coming round who I know drink Pinot Grigio or Chardonnay, and then I just pick something with that on the label.
You drink wine?
Well,
it's
Friday. But this, I'm hoping to get out of all of this, just a series of bottles of types of wine that I can take to other people's houses or get in for people who like wine, and I can go, hey, try that, you'll like it, and they will. So.
And we're absolutely not saying that this isn't worth the price, because now you understand why it's worth that price, where it's from, its typicity, and you do get that minerality and that extra kind of something quite special, bit of mouthfeel, a bit more alcohol, a bit more kind of resting on lees. All of this thing makes it a delicious wine.
Yeah.
But side by side, blindfolded, essentially, as in you didn't know which you were drinking, really interesting to see.
I don't feel like they're making the most of their website name.
Yeah.
Where's Barry's favourite wine from? France has it.
I like it. That's great.
It's france-has.it.
Yeah, France has it.
France has it.
Who's got the best wine? France has it. That's great.
Make the most of that.
Yeah.
France-has.Italian. Yeah. Excellent. Right, in that case, everyone at home, you can now either transfer any wine you have left into something else for later, or you can finish it, entirely up to you. But basically, do exactly the same for wines 3 and 4. Get them into your glasses at your own pace. Remember which goes in which glass. Put the boxes in front of them. Wines 3 and 4 should be the rosés.
Right. How are you feeling after 2 glasses of wine, Mike?
Oh, they weren't really
I'm loose.
today.
I've loosened up.
Great. I might have a chance.
Comments down below. Darren is saying, please remember to drink responsibly. Indeed. We also have a glass of water each. I don't think the boys have touched it yet, but we do have it here.
Right. I'm so happy how these turned out as well.
Yeah?
Proper lift the cloche experiences. Let us know how you're finding them as well down below. But we've got 3 and 4 lined up.
Getting them into the glasses. I'm also reading loads more comments here. It's so good to see because everyone seems to be really enjoying it. Remember, number 4, given we are doing this blind, number 4 is the only wine that isn't vegan vegetarian. Okay, and we can talk about why later on. Well, no, talk about why now. It uses findings to purify it. So it's the only one of the 6 that isn't vegan vegetarian. But it doesn't mean it's going to have meat or fish swimming around in it, all right?
Okay, nice,
I'll take my box away.
A nice blush rosé for number 3. I was expecting something a little darker, I think.
Well, you remember in our Wine 101 we did the Rosado from northern Spain, which was phenomenal. But that was glowing pink, a very different style, Spanish in its style. Perhaps 2 more generally popular colours of rosé, but again we'll talk about the difference in them.
These are really easy to pour when you do it
properly. Says this feels fun, even if it's very late for you. It must be. You are hours ahead of us, so thanks for joining. People are... Hazel has just joined. Are you all just getting drunk? Kind of. What we're doing is getting drunk responsibly to try and pick the premium. We're taking 2 very similar glasses of wine at a time. We've just done white. This is the rosé. And we're going to see if we can pick the premium, but also which is our favourite. So same as we always play with ingredients, but this time we're looking at wine, and hundreds of you are joining in at home.
Imagine if we could do this with all the the foodie rounds that we do at home and do as well. Sending foodie products around the world to people so they can play along with us.
That would be logistically impossible, but yeah, great. Sounds awesome.
This was a challenge, but thanks to these pouches, it's become doable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there might be a way. There might be a way.
Instantly, there's a difference in colour.
Yeah, big time. The I would say on sight alone, 4 is calling me.
Interesting.
Definitely more inviting in that when you go to posh hotels or restaurants, they sometimes display a rosé to tempt people outside, and it's usually a vibrant pink.
Do you reckon? Interesting.
Yeah, I find that. Well, recently, they had a little stand outside with a pretentious-looking rosé. I was like, I'm not sure it's going to be the finest, but it's calling me.
In terms of colour, just put a little bit. You hold that there, Baz. So we just get a little bit of a white balance behind it, so people at home can see the exact difference between the 2 wines. Remember, exactly the same rules as before. You've got the Google form. Have a look, have a sniff, have a taste of both, and then pick your favourite. When you've picked your favourite, submit the form, and then after submitting, you can go in and pick which you think is the premium. It won't necessarily be your favourite, or it might be. That's entirely up to you. We're going to do one at a time here.
I've got another bar name. Ben's Nice Legs.
Ben's Nice Legs, excellent. There are also...
Well, Ben has nice legs, that's good.
Yeah.
Ben has nice legs, because it's also ironic.
I think Ebbers' third tipple is still my top of the list.
Yeah, I'm trying to beat it, I'm desperate.
It's really hard to beat.
I've also had no sleep for about 3 weeks. And I need to go slow on this one.
A rosy rosé. Right, what do we think of wine number 3?
Okay. Cheers.
What am I doing? I've changed. I'm trying to...
You are a changed man. Remember, if wine's not your thing, we've got a small beer too, but I feel like right now, every glass should be an education.
Okay.
My problem is that everyone watching this has an interest in wine. So if I just sit here not liking wine or not contributing, it's literally pointless for me. So I'm really diving in and trying.
There's no right or wrong answers.
You're drinking, having a good time.
We want you.
I'm trying to have a good time. This is how I socialise now. It really takes a big effort.
It's going to take me a while to tune into this one, I think.
Rosé is an interesting category. It is hugely popular. We're obviously coming to the summer months here in the UK. It's massive in the summer, but rosé sales have gone through the roof in the last few years. And I think generally speaking, a kind of... Oh, by the way, these are both rosé from the south of France. I'll give you that,
Oh,
okay? So we're now sort of looking both in the very similar sort of region, but different for different reasons. Wine number 3 is paler and perhaps more typical of a Provençal rosé, whereas the other one is more salmon, got more colour, more skin contact. Over to you guys. Comment down below and/or use the Google form if you're drinking along. Which is your favourite? And then pick the premium.
Do you find when Ben talks about wine, I go on a journey of going, oh my goodness, that's so impressive. He's just really knowledgeable to what a Ed. Because it goes from going like building respect and saying a word that I don't understand, therefore I hate you a little bit, knocks it back down again.
Wine vocab.
It's kind of like
you go from going, man, he really does know so much. It's really quite impressive. Oh, now he wants us to know how much he knows.
yeah. That's what it is.
Which, when you look at it, do you think is more fun and enticing? Or more sophisticated? Or more, do you think more flavourful? Or do you think, just on looks alone, more premium?
Premium-wise, I really couldn't tell by the looks. Tasting 3, I think if blindfolded, I think I'd struggle to tell you that was a rosé. I don't know what I'm looking for in a rosé to go rosé.
To be honest, I haven't drunk rosé since I was about 19. And neither of these tastes like the rosé that I used to drink.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah,
again, they're both quality. One is a lot more premium than the other. And by premium, we just mean more expensive. So remember, rosé is made with red grapes, but there is only a little bit of skin contact. So they crush the grapes and they might stay the juice and the skins together for just a little while. And depending on the type of grape and therefore how deep red or purple the grape is, but also the time they spend on those skins will depend on the colour. So when we did the Rosado last time, it was using really deep red grapes, but also lots of skin contact, so you get a really good mouthfeel. These are both much lighter than before, but which is your favourite?
I think number 4 is stunningly delicious.
Yeah.
It's sweet than the first.
No, actually, this is the first time in this one, they're not wholly dry. I think you get a little bit of off dry, but it's like a fraction of residual sugar. They're still not sweet, but I know what you mean. They're fruitier because you're getting red berries.
Yeah.
You're getting, I think, off of 4, maybe even strawberries and cream.
Yeah.
I get almost a little bit of yogurtiness coming through.
Yeah, the thing is, I kind of wish I was blindfolded this round because I think the colour of it is making me think of those things. And I can't work out if it's the placebo of it being pink makes me go, oh, it does taste berry-like and strawberry-like. Or if it's... Because I'm trying to work out what is the taste of rosé. Like, how does... Does the skin contact, it gives it a colour, but how much flavour does it impart?
Well, but don't forget it's a different grape.
Yeah.
So you're not making it from white wine, which is generally your lemon, your green fruit. You're making it with red grapes, which is generally your berries. So what you should be getting is red berry fruit. Raspberry, strawberry, but you'll also maybe get some watermelon kind of vibes. So you're tasting red. I know you normally start to say it tastes very green when it's something that's very vegetal. These should taste, with your eyes shut, quite red. Right? They should taste zippy and zingy for sure, high acid, but red berries, watermelon.
Oh yeah, I'd say 3 is more
acidic.
Acidic. I was going to say it, but I was scared of saying it.
I said it. Buzz me.
3 acidic. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, definitely. And the red fruits come through far stronger. I'd say, again, perhaps the acidity makes me feel like 3 tastes of more, but actually it's more of a sensation. I feel like this seems to taste more subtle, but I don't know whether that's because of the lack of acidity.
4 feels kinder because of the lack of acidity and the fruitiness from it. It's definitely more of it's a balcony wine.
I mean, that is exactly where I see rosé.
Yeah.
That said, we're going to pair it with a nice starter in a minute.
Well, who am I with?
I haven't got a balcony. But I can imagine on holiday, on the balcony.
Yeah, a holiday
kids are in bed.
It's a holiday wine. I think you're
sunset,
right.
It's a sunset wine.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing, right? So I have got in front of me now loads of responses.
Your kids go to bed.
You guys are playing catch up on the Pick the Premium, but I've got pretty much the same number as before on your favourites. So submit the forms when you've picked your favourite and your premium.
Oh, no, we're not.
I can let you know, or actually, boys, which is your favourite?
Number 4.
4. So you both prefer 4?
4, yeah.
I mean, we're very paired here. This is off hundreds of people playing along. 64% again
Wow.
are saying 4. That is literally to the percent the same.
Wow.
That's amazing. However, very even split on Pick the Premium at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Literally 51-49 at the moment.
Why did you struggle with the second number?
Because it says 48, but I rounded up. Rounded up and down. 51.8% and 48.2%.
What's your favourite?
My favourite here, because I do know about them, and bear in mind I worked with Jamie, the Online Wine Tasting Club, to pick these wines, so I know them. I don't want to give it away.
Okay, don't.
I'll tell you my favourite in a minute.
Yeah, hold it back.
And then we'll talk about why one is more premium. We always talk about premium. There's so many factors at play as to what makes a wine or a food or an ingredient more premium. And by premium, we literally just mean more expensive.
I haven't even voted.
Have you locked something in?
I've locked it in.
Everyone at home is locking in the final answers, but in the meantime, this is what we've paired this dish with.
Ooh.
So I agree, Barry, that I think the best pairing for a rosé is a yacht or a...
I didn't say that, but I do agree.
But that kind of vibe, right?
Yes.
It is very pretentious,
Yes.
but it can be delicious, and it can just be in your back garden or at a pub in the sunshine.
Perfect.
That's where rosé suits. However, what we've done is a very seasonal kind of lentil salad. It's from Sidekick with grilled asparagus, herbs, and it's got this almond and breadcrumb sort of crispy bit running through it. It's lemony, it's herby, it's delicious. It's very seasonal, and I think with the rosé it will work perfectly. It's room temperature, it's yummy. This is so interesting and so close.
Now that's sweet and tangy.
Yeah, it's got mustard, it's got lemon. Mike, if you lock something in,
I have now, yeah.
let's see what everyone at home thinks. Now, those of you who are playing along, you can comment along which you think is more premium. See if you can pick the premium in the comments, but if you're not tasting, don't add to the form.
Ebbers, this is delicious.
Well,
It's so good, isn't it? So simple. So simple. It's a lovely dressing of lemon, garlic, mustard, oil over lentils with grilled asparagus, chives, fresh mint, and then breadcrumbs and almonds toasted off and mixed through, so you get a crunch.
it's a perfect pairing because it's making me want to drink it again.
Yeah. Salty food that's also high acid bounces between the wine.
To get the taste out of your mouth. No, I did
Interestingly, someone here, Emma, has paired rosé with asparagus wrapped in Parma ham.
Oh,
Excellent
class.
choice.
Right. Okay. How confident are you?
Not very.
Really?
Well, no. Because I don't really have any logic to go off yet. I'm trying to pick up on the things that he said that makes a Pinot Grigio premium, and I don't know whether they apply across all wines. We're about to find out.
They do, but I'll give you a clue. Every round we're talking about a different subject matter just to keep things interesting, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to wine.
Am I right in saying, Ebbers, that the percentage of alcohol is higher in 4 than 3?
No, they're both exactly the same, 12.5%.
Yeah, so the logic that I based my guess on, it now no longer applies.
However, you've locked in an answer. Shall I tell you what everyone at home thinks?
Yeah.
Everyone at home thinks 64% think that wine 4 is their favourite,
Yeah.
but 52%, so it is really close, it's pretty much split, agree that 4 is also the premium.
Good, back yourself.
But
Okay,
48% are saying that 3 is the premium. So it's a really even divide
So
here.
most of you think that you have expensive taste on this round. Just.
And do you know what? Where you put your money has to be where you value all sorts of things. One, taste. B, how it's made, who's made it, where it's made, and all those things. So, boys, what have you locked in as your pick the premium? Reveal in 3, 2, 1.
4.
You both also think 4 is the premium. This is fascinating. You've both locked in 4.
Yeah,
the
I've got it
audience,
wrong, haven't we?
just about with 2% in it, locked in 4 as the premium. I can only imagine the Online Wine Tasting Club are jumping on their chairs at the moment because...
Why?
Well, out of anger?
I can tell you, you're wrong again.
Right again!
Premium is 3.
Right.
But here is why, and it's a very different reason to before. The premium on this round is 3. Should we talk about wine number 3?
Just for, we have this thing sorted when we aren't doing very well, that you have a clean sweep or a dirty sweep.
I'm glad you
And
explained that.
currently, us, and you're with us now, we're on for a dirty
I
sweep.
actually want to get a dirty sweep more than anything.
I know,
now.
I
I'm
know.
going for a dirty sweep.
If we get the next one wrong.
I think you may even recognise the bottle. It's a very popular brand. Wine 3 is Miraval. So, yes, it is from Provence. It is a rosé. It is a beautiful bottle with cork.
Lovely.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
it is branded well. It is made by the Perrin family of Château de Beaucastel. So they are known in the area in Côte d'Rhône for making some of the best wines, like Châteauneuf de Pat with all 3 allowed grapes in the blend. It's a family basically that make incredible wine. They also make this rosé, which is incredible. They practice all the same things we'd expect of sustainable farming and organic and everything like that. However, it's also backed by Brad Pitt. This is Brad Pitt's rosé.
I love it.
So,
Really?
I wanted to be really clear. This is an amazing family, the Perrin family, who make phenomenal wine.
They also make 50% of the best Worcestershire sauce you can get. Think about it. I'll give you a moment.
Lee and Perrins.
The Perrin wine, yeah, fine. 50% Lee and Perrin. Excellent.
Yeah, there we go.
It took a while.
Glad we're doing this live.
But to give you some kind of idea, this was France's first 100% organic commune. Okay, so it's surrounded by woodlands and olive groves. They do fantastic sustainable vineyard work. They are the family that make phenomenal Châteauneuf de Pat and all sorts of other excellent wines in that region. But then it also has the Brad Pitt endorsement and name to it. And the bottle is beautiful with a cork.
Now, in greater volume, the colour looks almost more amber or orange wine.
Yeah.
Than just a glass in
Yeah.
there. I mean, we might show some photos and some videos on the screen now so you can get an idea again of where this is based. It is a blend of Cinsault, Grenache, Syrah and Roll, which is actually a white grape variety. So it's a blend of 4 different grapes, 3 of them red, 1 white, a little bit of skin contact, so you get that. And I think all the things you were tasting were spot on. Really high acid, but actually low tannin, because it's only got a little bit of skin contact, so it's still really lovely to drink. And then you think about the flavours. So all the things we said before, red fruit, raspberry, strawberry, maybe even a little bit kind of like almond or marzipan. Those are beautiful flavours coming through. It's yummy. It's really, really yummy. It's also got Brad Pitt's name to it.
Who is also very,
Very
young.
yummy.
Very yummy.
You've seen Fight Club? Oh. I think it tastes quite a lot better now it's warmed up slightly.
Remember, we took all of these out of the fridge. I mean, now, you know, a good sort of 50 minutes ago. So they are coming up. You put it in the glass, it warms up. I think you get more from it.
I feel like it's changed. I think that some of the acidity has actually died down a little.
You will get that.
Or you're getting more used to drinking rosé. There is a bit of me going, we've gone from delicious whites now to rosé, and you do have to adapt, I find, and align your taste buds to it.
We mentioned
that's true.
We mentioned it before, but still good diurnals in the area. Given that actually the south of France is really warm, there's a little bit of elevation with these, and they do put a small amount into oak again for 12 months to get that kind of blend. But I think the biggest thing is that the bottle alone, which is very much their brand, and if you were to turn up to a lovely party or a dinner party or a yacht, and you had a bottle of that, it's like turning up with a bottle of champagne. Everyone kind of recognises it if you know what you're looking for, and it's a bottle of Miraval. It is beautiful because of the bottle shape, because of everything else. So, you know, bespoke bottles and cork, you're probably looking at, I mean, our estimates are about £3 or £4 for the bottle alone, and then maybe £1 for the cork, right? So even the packaging is more expensive before you even get to...
£1 for a cork?
Pound of cork.
Cork's expensive, and it's in limited supply, and we're possibly even running out, which is why we're moving to screw cap, and it traps in the deliciousness.
Okay.
Okay, but let's move on to wine 4.
You're not going to tell us how much this is until the end.
Yeah.
You're holding that back. Sneaky Ebbers.
Wine number 4, which is all of your favourites. You guys only by 2% on terms of Pick the Premium, but it was your favourite across the board.
Yes.
And this is also from the south of France, so Languedoc. It's from Pic Paul de Pinet, and it is just one grape, Syrah.
That was a tongue twister.
Yeah.
That was a tongue twister.
Languedoc from Pic Paul de Pinet. It is also just one grape this time, so it's just Syrah, which you might also know as Shiraz from Australia. Same grape, different name, but Syrah. And it is absolutely delicious. This is the bottle.
Ooh.
Again, the colour appears deeper, doesn't it?
Definitely deeper. It's still
It's nice, isn't it?
very posh bottle.
I don't know.
But compared to that,
Do you think it's a posh bottle?
Well, it's nice. Sorry, it's a basic bottle, posh label.
And that's the reality, is you're paying for the wine inside of it. The bottle is less than £1, and the screw cap, costs I've got, potentially even less than 10p.
Right,
So
okay.
70, 80p for a cork, just under £1, 10p for a screw cap.
Yeah.
£3 for a bottle with Miraval, 65p or under £1 for the cheaper option. But that means you get more love into the wine, right? Now, if we look at some of the images and videos of wine 4, it's still a beautiful area. It's absolutely stunning. It's still crafted and loved. I think you're going to get all the things we spoke about before. So red berry, strawberry, watermelon. I think you get that mouthfeel of like almost some lactose, some yogurty, almost notes coming through. I think that's like almost strawberries and cream.
I'm getting fromage frais, definitely.
Fromage frais.
It's like a really subtle, fruity creaminess.
I think so.
Petit Falou.
Petit Falou, fruit.
I think... And the reason it has slightly more colour, as we said, the colour comes from the skin contact, so you are getting a few hours of skin contact, still very chilled. So they pick it, it's quite a hot place in Provençal, it's still down in the Languedoc, it's still a pretty warm place. They make huge volumes of wine in Languedoc, but this is still crafted and loved. It's called Le Vin d'Église, which literally means the vines of the church. It's still really young and fresh. It's still 2023, so it's not got any aging. You wouldn't really expect that of a rosé, and you don't age many white wines. But standout delicious. They both are.
Oh, this really puts into. I want to find out the price, but also this throws my whole. I'm going to learn which ones to take round to a house. Because the problem is, you take one round. I take this round. I know it's delicious. Yeah. But
they'll look at it and go.
Well, no, they just go, oh, thanks very much, and they put it in the fridge. They don't even. They don't open it while you're there. So then they go, oh, I just brought round some cheap bottle of wine. I'm not saying this will be seen as that, but I'm just saying as an example. Whereas I know if I take this round,
it's a statement.
They're not going to open it while I'm there, but they're going to think, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. But
and you would tell them it's Brad Pitt's wine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but maybe I'd take round this and go, we're opening this now so you can appreciate my gift because it's delicious.
Yeah, I'd be there, definitely.
But I think actually, I joked about the yacht being like a food pairing for the first.
Oh, you were joking.
I wasn't joking, because the other thing that wine 3 has going for it is their marketing is phenomenal, and you may have seen clips of the video earlier. If you look at their Instagram, it's all models, it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's the life we all kind of aspire to dream of, right? But none of that marketing comes cheap. So that all has to be built into the cost of the wine and the brand, and you'll see it, you know, people at Polo drinking this, people on yachts. It's a lifestyle thing, and you turn up with a bottle and people go, oh, thank you very much. And it is delicious.
It is.
Do you know what I'm doing this weekend?
Oh, shut up. I don't want to know.
I'm going on a boat.
You're going on a boat?
It's not a yacht.
No.
But it is a boat.
So you have to blow it up before you get on it.
Yeah, I'm on the beach for a little bit, but then when I get onto the yacht, I'll be having this in my dinghy.
You'll take your top off and people will be like, oh my goodness, Brad Pitt's holding a bottle of his own wine.
I've got my own Margot Robbie, it'll be fine.
Jenna's saying, Brad Pitt dropped from a helicopter and landed in my garden to give me this bottle of wine. We better open it soon. And Chris is saying, I still think 4 was nicer. This is why we asked you for your favourite before we asked for which you think is more premium. 64% of you said you preferred 4. Now, 4 comes in, wine number 4, the L'Église Syrah Rosé from Languedoc, comes in at about £12 a bottle.
Okay, great.
Whereas the Miraval from Provence, so we all think of Provençal Rosé as being the pinnacle. We proved that wrong when we did the Rosada from Spain before, but it's kind of seen on a pinnacle. How much do you reckon?
Can we guess? Yeah, I reckon 20 quid.
Do you reckon 8 quid more, like a good chunk more?
Yeah,
25, I think.
Really?
£30 a bottle.
Tax. Yeah.
£30 a bottle. So what you guys have tasted at home is a sample of £30 a bottle wine, and that is why it is more premium.
Wow.
Is it your favourite? Is it more delicious? That's up to you. What's important is it's biodynamic, it's sustainable, it's made by the Perrin family. Wow. It is absolutely delicious first and foremost, and then it has a beautiful bottle, an expensive cork, or a more expensive cork, Brad Pitt and marketing behind it. That's why it's expensive. And somebody in the comments, I saw that, said it's a bit like celebrity endorsed fragrances, perfumes, aftershaves, watches. It's all about a perceived value. Don't get me wrong, it's the one I've nearly finished. It's absolutely delicious, but that's why it's more premium.
Interesting. Very well done. You've taken us all on a ride so far. Yeah. We've all taken it hook, line and sinker.
Interestingly, you've picked both options, which are the cheaper, but your favourites, which is I think is interesting. The last thing I want to say, because it's everything we're about, which is community, wine number 4 is made by a cooperative. So it's lots of grape growers, vineyards in Languedoc, who make a volume of grapes that isn't really worth making wine with. So they put it all together into cooperative, and then these 2 winemakers take all the collective Syrah grapes and make this. So,
really?
Yeah, so it's a cooperative of people who grow grapes, but like, I either don't have the skill or equipment to make good wine, or I just don't have enough grapes. So they put it all into a cooperative, and that's what this is.
That is so cool, and the fact it tastes so good as well.
Right.
And it's delicious. I think it's strawberries and cream. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
It's also...
And you asked for my favourite earlier. It's this one.
Oh, okay,
it is number 4.
And I didn't want to give it away because it's my favourite because of all the reasons, but also the value for money. Because yes, the bottle's cheaper, but it means you get more in the wine. I think.
That's cool to know as well, Ebbers, because I was striking. Well, I was thinking that perhaps you'd be like, well, having understood the techniques and the more you know about the complexities and perhaps the prestige, as you would say, of a particular winemaker, you'd err towards that. Like, for example, it's like someone saying, like, oh, my favourite film is Bad Boys 2. And you're like, okay, fine. And then you get someone who likes films going, absolutely not. It's 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And it's like, you won't really understand why this is so good.
Cool, yeah.
But I really like the fact that you just pick the one that you like the taste of most, and you're not erring towards you clearly appreciate
that is excellent wine, and the family behind it are phenomenal.
But it's not swaying you in your...
I think if you ask me for which I want a second glass of, I think it's that one, in this instance.
Good.
This would be really good at a family barbecue.
It would be really good.
And delicious with lentils and asparagus. Just the last comment here, I actually don't know whether it was Alex or Jamie in the comments, but the Online Wine Tasting Club have commented, pointing out that if you don't buy Brad Pitt's wine, he can't fund the yacht that he wants to drink it on. So there's always a place for it, and I think like turning up to a celebration with a bottle of champagne, it's a statement piece.
Yeah.
Is the wine better? Well, that's up to you. That's a personal preference. 48% of you thought it was the premium.
Yeah.
You were right. 52% of you were wrong. But you actually preferred wine 4. We're going to take a little pause there. Well, basically, we do the same as before. So take the rosé out, and put 2 reds in, 5 and 6. Now, these are not chilled, these are red wines. Get those into your glasses, and we're going to repeat the same process again. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep an eye on the comments as well.
Yep.
Careful.
Safely dispatched.
And I love the fact you're all commenting between each other as well, because I've got it in front of me. I'm seeing some wonderful things, but I can't always respond to them all. You're right.
As you're struggling.
When was the last time you had 4 glasses
Excuse
of wine?
me, I gave you wine. Water, rather.
You did give us wine.
I've done water to wine.
First time I've stood up in a little while.
Ooh. The fresh air is going to be fun. Can't wait for the stagger home.
This is so much fun.
We've never done this together with everyone. I love that.
It's so rewarding. Also, it's really comforting to know that you are here with us and that you are experiencing the exact same that we are, and that it makes us feel so much less stupid and ridiculous. Now, you guys we're in line. We are thinking the same thing.
You're calling them stupid and ridiculous. That's offensive.
No. In the majorities, yeah, I think that's the thing.
If you just focus in the comments sometimes, you do start to question yourself.
Yeah.
But here, yes, it's wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Choice.
Do you want me to put these in my backpack?
Yeah, you can.
I've got to take that to my dinghy.
To your dinghy.
Is that another wine bar name? No.
Yeah, more wine bar names for Ben's wine bar.
Ebbers Tipple is winning so far. That is so good. It's so
Some
good.
great comments. Hannah's saying these wines smell incredible. I'm suggesting she's already got 5 and 6 in the glass and has had a sniff. It's the same format as before, so if you are ready, jump into the Google form and pick a favourite based on sight, smell and taste. And then pick the premium. But don't rush, we're going to talk through it just as we have previously.
How are we doing for time? Is it like midnight? I have no concept of how
We've been going an hour.
Wow.
An hour?
And we've got one more to do. So do you know what?
This is brilliant.
Almost right. But I don't want to rush it.
Is John in the comments?
John?
I was talking to John earlier. I know he's drinking along.
Oh, he might be. There's lots of comments, I'll be honest.
Oh.
There's 3,000 people watching
John,
and they're all
pipe up.
commenting.
There's
Wine 6 smells fantastic, says Scott. Chateauneuf de Ben. Well, it may be too soon. We shouldn't be talking about Chateauneuf de Ben this week, right? It's still a little raw. Wine bar, Ebb and Flow.
Ebb and Flow.
Excellent name.
What? That's your DJ name.
What about
Ebb and Flow.
Ben Chateau de Bed?
This is the dangerous round because as two dads, we're not getting the most amount of sleep at the moment. This is where we get sleepy.
Yes. Potty training and wine tasting do not combine.
Delicious reds on offer. The comments are
that's just me.
pouring in. Oh, Aaron says we should call it Poor Decisions.
Very good.
Poor as in poor. I like that.
Nice.
You guys.
Sums up your life.
Should I
as
break
well.
it now that I might be a part of Edinburgh Fringe show this summer?
Well, you can announce that to us as well if you wouldn't mind, please. Tell
I've got some
more.
friends who
trying
do
to sell tickets?
I've got some friends who do an amazing wine comedy tasting thing called In Poor Taste. That's what it might be.
Why are you involved?
I'm going to guest on it.
It's a comedy.
Doing what?
Drinking the wine.
He's the butt of the joke.
Oh,
That
great.
figures
We've
it.
been
The
living
wine
off,
butt.
been living off that for 15 years.
The cock and cloche.
The cock and
Which one's
cloche.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is fun, isn't it?
You've got 5 and 6 in the glass. We're going to play the same game. So have a look at them because this time we've moved to reds. Is there any difference in colour when you look at,
Have a look at that.
in particularly the wine in the glass, but also the edge of the wine? So I would suggest if you're at home and you've got anything white, just lean the glass away from you until it almost falls out the glass, and then look at the very thin rim because that will give you a real indication of the colour of the wine. And is it any different between A and B? 5 and 6.
What? I'd say 6. 6 is like Dexter Morgan blood red.
No, it's not.
Like I'd say that's like it's like blood splatter red.
They're exactly the same.
No, I'd say it's a lot more ruby. 6.
What?
And 5 looks ever so slightly lighter. But I'd say 6 looks more bloody.
Damon Jones says 1 is incredible. Joe Watson says 1 is brighter and more shiny than the other. I'm avoiding the numbers here so that these guys can play along. Emma's saying 1 is slightly darker. And M Cheddar says that one of them smells like a fancy one.
Yeah.
Well, is that premium or is that just excellent winemaking? You guys are going to decide. First of all, though, lock in your favourite wine.
Here we go.
Which is your favourite? Which is the one you'd like a second glass of?
I genuinely can't see any different, which is, I'm worried.
Absolutely delicious on the nose. And I think a red wine like this, which is why we've chosen, obviously, to end it, we've built from white to rosé to red. They build, they're delicious, but they're kind of to be savoured, which is why we've left it at the end. You absolutely, in the same way that I left some of the whites and one of the rosés, you don't have to drink it all now. Savour it, it's delicious.
6 is more tannins.
6 is more tannins.
Yeah.
Now, given Wine 101, where does the tannin come from?
Grape, the skin.
The skin and
contact.
or the stems and or the seeds, and they all give wine tannin. And then over time, tannin can soften to be lovely and round. But either way, it will give you a mouthfeel that's just delicious.
Oh my God!
These are both 14% wines, so quite a shift from the 11% we started on.
Well, instantly, I'm not. This sounds like a really bad thing, but it's not. 6 has given me an instant little bit of heartburn.
Okay.
Like there's a
and
bit
what
of
normally does that?
Alcohol.
So they are both higher alcohol.
I know, but it feels. That's what usually I'll go to. But it hits you harder.
It makes your tongue rough.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
It does.
But it's not actually unpleasant.
No,
that
not
sounds
at all.
unpleasant,
I know.
but it doesn't. It makes your tongue rough.
It's a more of a workout. But I feel like I need a very.
What's my?
I need 6. I can 6. I would pair with a steak. 5. I'd pair with a pasta dish.
What a great analogy, because I think food pairing is really interesting here. Because
reverse buzzer.
Especially red meat proteins love tannin, right? Because tannin and red meat, they kind of undo each other. So you take, somebody said here, very great word, Kathy, grippy tannin.
Grippy,
yes, which means almost grips your tongue, which says you're drinking a really like bold wine. Something like red meat or the proteins in red meat can ungrip it on your tongue. So that's a really interesting thing. And there's some great observations here. Some people saying tastes a bit smoky.
I get it. I get the fact that 6 has so much going on. I'm left with so much aroma in my nose after 6.
Yep.
For me, it's like a candlelit castle.
Oofed.
In that,
I love you're like Oz Clarke.
A little bit. I feel like I'm
castles. This is mental.
I'm off the boat and I'm out in my castle.
What's
happening? I've got that kind of like rich, there's medieval vibes. I don't know why.
You're drunk.
Have it.
What I will give you, again, as like before, the first 2 were both Pinot Grigio. The second 2 were both from the south of France, but different grapes. This time, these are both, where would you say, if you had to guess?
Yeah, definitely.
Or could you guess?
Really?
Yeah.
I'll go with Argentinian.
No, but Spanish influence. It's they're both northern Spain.
Okay.
And they're both mostly Tempranillo. Okay.
Oh, that's what we had at my wedding. At a Tempranillo, I should genuinely.
Okay.
Well, there's lots of varieties within Tempranillo, and these are 2, again, different varieties. Both delicious, but quite different. One is more premium than the other.
I've got a business idea. We should do this, because you know, when you go wine tasting to choose your wine for a wedding.
Weddings, yeah.
We should just pick the premium, but for like newly engaged.
Yeah.
So they do
just
this.
packs for everybody.
Instead of like, because it's
wine tasting, but the trouble is, if you really like the expensive one, that's a really spenny day.
It's already
a wedding. Yeah,
you're already in deep.
Yeah, exactly. It's all on a credit card anyway. But yeah, we could do newly engaged experiences.
Okay, we've got maybe 2/3 of the people at home have submitted their favourites and their premiums relative to the first 2 rounds. I'm guessing you're still here. Hello. If you're still here, get your votes in for your favourite wine. Now you've had a chance to look at, sniff and taste both. But boys, do you have a favourite?
So 6, I feel like I'm getting cherry and oak. It feels really deep fruity.
Wow.
And like I said, it tastes like a castle. It tastes like there's barrels from the castle with a little bit of, I don't think it's smoked. But it's, 6 is, I find, the most exciting. Like I think I drink a lot of red wine, and every now and then a red wine jumps out as a special treat, and 6 feels like a special treat to me.
And I think those descriptors you gave are really good. I think it would also lean into those tertiary notes that we touched on when we did Wine 01. So they've had time to age, and those tertiary notes are giving you kind of like that leather kind of vibe.
Yeah, I guess it's leather.
Which you said like old castle, but it's kind of all very similar, right? Yeah. It's kind of dusty, leathery, and you said cherry, I think absolutely, but also maybe damson, blackberry, and almost chocolate coffee. Whereas 5, what are we getting on 5? Because there's still lots of oak in there.
Sorry.
Lots of oak, so you're getting lots of vanilla, lots of clove. Still some of that kind of woody, charred wood, but maybe more cherry.
I think I'm focusing on what I'm eating it with. So I'm focusing on a tomato pasta dish. So I'm looking at like the sweeter notes of it. It's not sweet, but the sweeter notes of it, the fruity notes of it, that bring me in line, and it is a lot more refreshing.
Yeah, I feel like 5, forgive me, tastes lighter. Like it feels lighter. You can still taste the tannins, but they're less grippy. Whereas 6 tastes deeper. Like there's a depth. They're darker fruity flavours. Whereas I'd say 5 is sort of lighter, not sweet, but sweeter. Flavours is what I'm getting. It feels like it's doing something different to my. It feels like 5 is slightly more acidic because it's doing different things to the front of my tongue, whereas 6 feels like it's gripping the back.
You're right. It's where it is in the tongue, isn't it? Massively.
I think they're all great observations for people who. I mean, Mike, you say you're like, I'm not into wine. I don't like wine. I don't know much about it. I think you're describing exactly what you're experiencing, and that is exactly what wine should be. Like, don't fall into the trap of like wine lexicon. Just say out how you feel and what it reminds you of.
Have you ever sat down and had a Foster's and gone, do you know what part of the tongue...
No Foster's, right. We've got all the votes in. Well, a lot more votes in. This time, have we got a favourite in the room?
Oh.
Just verbally a favourite?
You know what, I haven't, because I think I drink a lot of red wine, and 5 is one I would happily drink on Tuesday, Thursday night, but... 6 is the night of the castle. Is a special. It's let's close the blinds and do this.
Let's pull the blinds.
I don't know why.
Excellent.
Light the candles.
Mike, do you have a? Mike, do you have a favourite? Which one are you going back for another sip of?
I'm actually not sure if I like the grippiness of red wines. So, because
you want to go back for the
I
rosé?
like a slick tyre, so I'm going to go for 5. I think the lighter feel. I'm not much of a red wine drinker, to be perfectly honest, but yeah, I'd say number 5 is probably my favourite.
Fair play. Well, most of the votes now, in terms of the same number of people playing the first rounds, are in.
I think this could split the room.
57% of people prefer wine 5. So a slight majority preferring wine 5. However, now lock in your premium, boys. And while you're doing that, let's get some food.
I don't know enough about
taste
and how that equates to process to be able to guess.
Are we going for a dirty sweep here? I'm kind of hoping to be wrong.
So whichever one I think it is the wrong answer.
Oh,
So that's fun.
that is dinner. Wow.
That is dinner when we wrap, but also a delicious pairing. We've chosen another psychic recipe. It is a cheesy chorizo gnocchi bake. So it's kind of an all-in-one.
Happy Friday.
Absolutely delicious. Smoked paprika and garlic and chorizo and tomato. So Baz, you said
hello.
that 5 was kind of screaming tomato sauces.
Yeah.
I've also gone because they're both northern Spain. You've got the chorizo kind of going on in there. And the 6 might be more like a steak, or I would argue even a fireplace with a bit of Stilton. It's a bit more kind of even more end of the night. But this dish with the slight spice and smoked paprika and tomato, perfect with both, but the reds in general.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I don't know if you've still got forks, you haven't.
I've got forks. Oh, we can talk. I've had a wonderful time. And I love the fact that, again, I think I'm with you. I understand why the majority of you prefer 5. It's definitely more drinkable. And I think as a general red wine, it's exceptional. But 6 is a special treat, which doesn't necessarily mean it's more, I was going to say pretentious, but more premium.
Well, as per your results tonight, all of your favourites and preferred have actually been the cheaper options. So it may or may not sway it. John is in the comments. We found him.
Hi, John.
He also comments, as you spoke to him earlier, John Richards, that he has had this meal recently. Absolutely. It's on Psychic. It's delicious. Yes. It's thrown together in no time. It's got mozzarella on top, which is not a Spanish cheese, but it's just so good. It's so good.
It's a blended.
It's a blend.
Right, have you locked in your premium? Because everyone at home has. Or lots of people at home have.
Okay, cool. I've locked it in because I'm going off my gut. I've gone off my gut the entire time and I've been wrong every time. So let's just continue down that route.
These are absolutely delicious sippers. Again, big thanks to Jamie from Online Wine Tasting Club for picking 2 excellent wines. It's just that one of them is more expensive, premium, than the other. Right, boys, I can reveal at home, remember, it's actually gone up slightly, 58% of people preferred wine 5.
Yeah.
But 70% of people think that wine 6 is premium. So they're preferring, again, the cheaper option. And we're going to look at why.
Yep.
What have you guys locked in as your premium? 3, 2, 1.
We're the same.
6. Yeah.
You both thought that 6 is more premium.
6, even though for you guys it wasn't a favourite, I think it was my favourite because I love red wine and I love a special treat, and that's what that is. Yeah. It's a special treat, and therefore that's why I'm putting it in a more expensive bracket.
You said a word earlier that stuck with me, and I couldn't think of another way to articulate it, and you said bold. Yeah. And it is bolder.
Yeah.
And it's actually so much bolder that perhaps the boldness comes as a result of some sort of wizardry that's complex
in the castle.
And a little bit, in the castle at Hogwarts, that, you know, just means that this is going to be a little bit more expensive to produce, and therefore the price will be higher.
So let's talk about that wizardry. Remember, in the whites, it was about a completely different country and therefore cheaper land growing the same grape. And one was using machine harvest versus hand harvest, right? That was the biggest differences. Whereas this time, with the rosé, it was more about branding and bottle and packaging. Whereas this time, it's about age. So,
we could be right.
Number 5.
Maybe we're not. I don't know, do I?
We have to wait for ages now before we find the price. Yes, you can describe in each and every one and show us the bottles.
You are both absolutely right, as is everyone at home. The premium wine is 6.
We got one right. Oh, we did it. He's sweet. Oh, what a shame.
Oh, I should have built up to that more. We just threw it at you. But you're right. So not everyone's favourite based on majority percentages, but everyone guessed that was the more premium.
Well done.
Now, let's talk about wine number 5. So it is northern Spain.
You can drink this in the park.
It is...
So basic.
We're so basic.
And it
also really old.
Yeah.
Maximo.
Park.
It is Tempranillo, so it is 100% one particular grape, which is absolutely delicious. And it is 2020, so it is already 5 years old. But the way they make it in the vineyard means that it doesn't have a huge amount of oaking. So they keep all of those fresh, vibrant flavours. And also, if you get your nose back in...
It's really good.
Floral. You get a little bit of like violet, kind of like red or purple flowers off of it. Really, because it's very fruity.
Really tasting vanilla now.
So there is some oaking, for sure. I think it's about, I've got the number, 3 to 6 months. Yeah, 3 to 6 months in American oak. So it has got oaking. So you get that vanilla, that almost cinnamon and clove notes going through. But... I would say what you get most is the fruit-forward flavour. So yes, it's 5 years old, but also it's not spent much of that in oak. They trap in the fruitiness of the grape. It's absolutely delicious. All the things you said, actually, cherry was good. Maybe plum, which is why when you said Argentina, not a bad shout, because I always think of plum as being like Malbec kind of vibes, with that kind of plumminess, but absolutely delicious. Lots of people here saying they got the dirty sweep.
Yes, well played. Congratulations.
Some people saying here all 3 premium correct, and they preferred all the premiums. So a real mixed comments in the bag, but this is organic, as it has been certified for 10 years. It's vegan. It's absolutely delicious with all the things you said, tomato sauce, kind of pasta sauces, sausage meat or smoked meat works beautifully. It would also work absolutely wonderfully in like lamb casseroles, shepherd's pies, all that kind of stuff. It just gives deliciousness because it's fruity with a little bit of oak. You can see some of the photos and videos appearing on the screen.
It's very nice, but I can also see it working quite nicely whilst you're cooking as well. A little splash in your tomato sauce works quite nicely as well.
Again, back to some of the other things we noticed before. So it's mostly fermented in stainless steel. And then when they know it's got all that fruitiness and floralness, they trap it into the bottle with a screw cap. So it doesn't change. So although it's 5 years old, it pretty much doesn't change. It's locked in. Right. A cheaper seal, but also they're locking in that fruitiness. Now let's move to 6, which is a standout wine.
That goes better than that.
Absolutely a standout wine. This is from Rioja. It is a Grand Reserva. And it is 2017.
Did you say it's a Rioja?
Rioja.
Oh! I'm going to take this to people's house and not change any of my behaviours before this video.
It is a Rioja, but it's also 2017 Grand Reserva. It doesn't come with a gold netting, sorry, Mike, but it does come with a cork.
Would you like it gift wrapped?
But to your point before, the cork means that it can continue to kind of breathe and age, mellow out some of those tannins, give a real roundness, and that's why you get some of those tertiary kind of dusty, leathery notes from what is essentially the same grape, Tempranillo. It's got a little bit of Manzuela, like a few %, but it's mostly Tempranillo again. And this one, for me, you get some of that darker, richer fruit.
100%.
But the challenge is, and this is why it's so expensive, compared to the first one, which was only in oak for 3 to 6 months, this stays in oak for 28 months.
Yeah.
So if we show some of the videos, again, you can see the setting, the location, but also the cellars. They have to keep this for more than 2 years in barrel before they put it into bottle. In the most expensive part of Rioja, so Alto, so the very highest end of Rioja. So you are basically paying for rent for your wine in an expensive wine region, in an expensive barrel, so that it becomes deliciously round and tastes like that. That's why it's more premium. It is older, it is spent longer in oak, and it's in a beautiful area where almost like the river, the Ebro River, like loops round and it sits in the middle. It's an amazing place. Not to mention, they hand harvest it all and then they hand pick it all. So they literally go by grape, making sure that only the best grapes go in. So it is a labour of love. It is loved, and then it is looked after for so much longer. 2017, that was harvested. So those grapes were picked 3 years before all that COVID rubbish, like way, way, way back. and it's been looked after ever since. That's essentially what you're paying for in premium wines. Someone to look after that for you.
It's the first time I've ever seen a graph on the back of a bottle of wine.
A graph, yeah.
Yeah, it basically shows you when it got good and how long it's good for. And again, it's like after 20 years, it's not always about the longer the better. It's going after 6 years, it's at its best, and it will stay there for up to, I think it was 18 odd years on the barrel.
Not to contradict you either, Ebbers, but this tastes so much better with that.
It does.
As a food pairing,
than that, like you were saying, this works really well with the pasta, the tomato
and I think
sauces.
works really nicely with again, we're talking northern Spain, but I think works really nice with pizza because of the tomato sauce and whatever. But I know what you mean. Like,
honestly, it's a different level of. I was always sceptical about wine pairings. This is just a restaurant's way of getting you to spend more money. But genuinely, it's phenomenally different.
The 5 with this particular dish, it pairs beautifully. It complements each other nicely. Whereas 6, it makes you look forwards to sipping 6 again and then going back. It elevates both.
It really does. And this really does taste complex. Like when we did the Wine 101, although I was just having a panic attack because the stream kept on going down.
We had trouble with that.
I wasn't on camera. The things that I took away from it were those primary, secondary and tertiary descriptors and flavours. And this is one that you can genuinely feel, because I always feel like the tertiary flavours are almost more sensations than they are tastes to me as a noob. You can taste all 3 and it's so complex and there's a lot going on. It just screamed the premium.
It's an exceptional wine. I think majority of people at home spotted it was the premium, even though it wasn't, as a majority, your favourite, but it was the more premium. The last thing to mention, and it's really important to say this is not something that comes out of a factory. This is a natural product. 2017, we always talk about vintages, right? 2017 was a really, in that area, quite a difficult year. Like, it was quite a cold winter, it took a lot to get going, there was a bit of a drought. Right. What it meant was there were actually, good bit of sun towards the end, fewer grapes. But the grapes there were exceptional. So basically the vines pushed out fewer grapes of better quality. So you've also got less yield. So not only are you looking after it for ages, but you've got excellent quality. 2018 might well be cheaper, because weather is different. It's a natural product, and that's what I love about wine, is you open the cork and you never quite know what's inside.
But is that common practice then for vineyards and winemakers to literally go, well, we got a big yield, but the grapes aren't as good this year, lower the price? It just doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't just say, for my name on my bottle, it's X amount all the time.
Some people will, for sure, and that's brand, and people will pay that. But it's more the other way. When it's a tough year, the price might go up. Whether they would drop the price if they suddenly have a bountiful crop and the conditions were perfect with all the right diurnals, I don't know. But when you've got the labour to pick through bunch by bunch and then grape by grape and then all the process, not least the winemaker, Maria, I think, she has like a degree in oenology. Oenology? Grapes. She has a degree in viticulture, but also she grew up in the area.
Is that why you go on and on and on and on about wine?
But also she grew up in the area, so she's a local, she knows the traditions, but also she has this scientific background and chemistry she brings to it. I think it is, personally, my favourite wine of the night, but I don't care what I think, because there's one more question for those of you who've tasted. Head to the Google form. Which was your favourite wine out of all 6? We would love to know. Question. And it's so difficult because they're useful for so many different things, whether you have a yacht or not.
Or a dinghy.
But which is your overall favourite? While we talk about price.
Price-wise, I can't get my head around how much I'd be willing to spend on that. One thing I just wanted to say as well was I've always admired people who are into their wine and how their knowledge of the weather of every single year. Only up until 2020, where we can all remember what the weather was like in the UK in 2020.
Boiling in the summer.
Because the first
Much
time
like the spring we've just had, actually.
we all stopped because we had to stop because of
yeah.
COVID, and we all went, "What a lovely April." Everyone remembers going, COVID really sucked, but the weather was lovely.
Yeah,
It's true.
And everyone then suddenly embraces it, understands why it was such a good year for farmers, but a bad year for the rest of the world. That kind of helped me align and appreciate more what farmers and winemakers go through every single year when the weather makes so much difference. The fact that it was a fantastic year, makes me feel more willing to go, I'm happy to spend a bit more money on that yield because it was such a fantastic year.
Also because support the winemakers, because next year might not be as good.
Yeah.
And that's always the challenge. You don't know what's around the corner. And in a lot of the wine regions, vines and grapes are happy to struggle. They actually like being under stress, and that's when they produce the best fruit. But some of that stress leads to really dry conditions sometimes, and therefore sometimes fires, like forest fires and wildfires. So you can lose an entire crop in a year to smoke taint and all sorts. So if there's a wine you like, I think personally it's worth finding a good wine supplier that you trust, that you can go to and say, what's great and where should I spend my money? Yes, you can walk down the supermarket aisles and you can find something that suits your price point. That works all the time, right? Keep doing that too. But sometimes you want something special and you want to trust somebody's judgment. I would say find yourself a wine supplier. We're lucky that around here we've got several, but the online wine tasting company do delivery, and I mean they're also Hertfordshire, which is where we grew up, so it's nice. But trust a wine supplier.
Yep. Well done. I was really hoping you'd do that. I'm so glad you did.
Hertfordshire.
I just want to wrap this up by saying...
Are we talking about price?
No, we should do that first.
So what, the five first? We've had a few to drink now. We're forgetting the format, guys.
Wine number 5, which was everyone's favourite as a majority online. Remember, it was a favourite by, it was only 51%.
No.
Oh no.
No,
57%. So a slight majority, £11 a bottle. And I think for £11 a bottle, you are getting excellence. Still all the things we talk about, organic, vegan, delicious, fruity.
Times become circuit boards, we can beat the sun as long as we keep moving.
And I would also say, when you think about Tempranillo, much like we spoke about right at the start, a really good, typicity. There's that word of the night again, very typical. How much do you reckon for wine 6?
Oh, there's a lot of effort.
It can't be as much as Brad Pitt's wine.
There's got to be more, I think.
No, surely.
Yeah, I know the way Ebbers' brains work. I work with him on preparing things like food trends and the premium.
Bear in mind, we've ended on red wine because you couldn't put it first, not because it's the most expensive.
No, okay, fair.
I'm going to say 23 quid.
£23. I mean,
it's
again,
bold. It's bold.
unless you're really into your wine, £23 a bottle is a lot to spend on a bottle to enjoy. Goes 6 way, 6 glasses out of a bottle is a good measure, but you would savour that.
You are not drinking that fast, no matter how hard you try.
14%, and it lingers. People talk about I nearly said wankiness. I meant pretentiousness of...
No, Ebbers.
We're live!
You said it.
Did you say it?
No.
Just now?
No. What I said was...
Demonetised. Brilliant.
People
I thought it would have been Ebbers, the one to get us demonetised.
People talk about the long finish, and I would say you can...
Bar name.
Excellent wine bar name. I think you take a sip from that and you are still tasting it a minute or two later. Yes. It's still there. It's brilliant. But how much? £23, Mike, what do you think?
Maybe it's less than a pit. Would we say... Oh, it's really tough, isn't it? Let's say... Oh, I'm going to say more. I'm going to go 30. Because, like you said, the stress of that year.
No, we had to afford to put this in a box and sell it. It can't be 30 quid.
30 quid.
Everybody at home has also had the privilege of tasting a wine that is £30. It's a £30 bottle, just like the Miraval, but I would say without the brand reputation and the marketing, this is deliciousness in a glass. So it's a £30 bottle of wine
Wow.
compared to the £11, which was actually everyone's favourite and more preferred, because I think it's more easygoing, it's more fruit forward, it's more delicious with food. For me, and you said this was more delicious with food. For me, this is like end of the night cheese board.
Yeah.
Round everything off. What's amazing? Do you guys have a favourite of the whole night? Because it's pretty clear cut in the poll, and I am surprised.
I'm saying,
but I love it.
Number 2.
Number 2, the first wine. The first wine.
The Melanie one.
I think as a new experience, 6 has blown me away. So I think 6 is my favourite overall.
So Barry's favourite is the premium red.
Yeah. One I would never buy for myself, if I'm honest, but I'm happy to take a glass.
Mike's favourite is the cheaper white.
Yeah.
All 6 votes are in, and I've got percentages for all of them, but 36% of people,
so this is the majority,
and therefore the top, the favourite of the night was wine 2, the Romanian Pinot Grigio, and I think in terms of the quality you get for what you pay, the deliciousness, I think it is spot on. When we did this with Jamie, and deliberately, obviously, not Mike and Barry, but with Jamie and some of the team, it was Ishi's favourite out of all of them.
Was it?
It was Layla's favourite out of all of them.
Really?
It was a standout wine. Romanian Pinot Grigio. It's absolutely delicious. Thank you so much.
This is great.
What a success!
What a night.
If I'm being honest, we're really nervous about doing these because it's very new for us to sit down and taste with you guys. When it goes well like this and the stream doesn't collapse halfway through...
Don't speak too soon.
Joking.
We heard the giggle from the gallery.
Cool.
Sorry, you were saying?
I don't care now. Don't care. What a lovely time. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's the only way we can get Ebbers to hang out with us in the evenings.
When you put wine in front of us. It's so true. Right, remember, there is a link in the description box if you want more of the wines, if you want to buy again and drink again, or gift it to a friend who can watch along. This will remain as a live stream, the full hour and a half up there. You can buy that. The link is down below. If you use the code Ebbers10 at checkout, you get 10% off. So just saying.
Ebbers 10 centimetre.
However, remember, it doesn't matter which is more premium. It matters which one you prefer. So far tonight, I think you have all preferred the cheaper option, which is A-OK. We just wanted you to understand why some wine is more expensive. It might be where it's grown, the postcode, and the cost of land and hand harvesting in the Dolomites. It might be the cost of the bottle and the cork and the branding and the marketing that goes to a celeb-sponsored wine in Miraval, although bear in mind that was also excellent wine. Or it might be the literal aging and time that it takes to create something that is now 8 years old in a glass. But comment down below. We'd love to hear how you enjoyed this evening. Otherwise, we will say cheers.
From Ebbers' third tipple.
We still like the third tipple.
The third tipple, well done.
Well
You've
done,
won the
well
entire stream. Have a lovely weekend, and this was a pleasure to do. Thank you so much, Ebbers.
Cheers.
Great work.
Over and out.
Cheers.
Good night.